It's hard to imagine anyone wouldn't enjoy coming home to this. However, for many, the culture shock of returning home results in alienation, unhappiness and disillusionment. Sean Dooley went on a gap year in 2010. He wasn't sure how he felt returning home after 15 months away.
I was apprehensive, and it was a bit of a change because I was quite enjoying living on myself and having my own apartment and having a lot more independence than I suppose I thought I had when I came back. And it was just a bit of time to refit into the way things were, which is not what I necessarily wanted to do.
The latest longitudinal survey of Australian youth revealed that 24% of school leavers take a gap year, with 6% choosing to travel. Almost all of them will suffer from some form of reverse culture shock, a Western phenomenon that has only been studied in the last 10 years.
Basically, reverse culture shock is the process, the adjustment process that people goes through, and sometimes there are a number of difficulties that people may experience in the process of readjusting to the home culture.
Dr. Hugo Gonzalez is a counselling lecturer at the University of Notre Dame, Sydney. He says reverse culture shock is a universal phenomenon.
Yeah, it affects everybody. No, it affects everybody who have experienced some period of time abroad. It happens significantly to students who have gone overseas for a period of time. Sometimes, for example, students, sojourners going for an international experience of 1-2 years, for example, or international students coming to Australia for a period of time to complete their studies.
Sean's younger sister Anna found it wasn't all smooth sailing when she returned from her gap year in December.
It was really nice. It was really nice being in my own home and not being so lonely in my flat and just seeing so many people I hadn't seen in ages. I suppose that lasts for a few weeks and then you realise that, okay, go find a job, get back into a routine, and that was a big shock. And then just being home and having to tell people where I'm going, what I'm doing, and not being as independent was, probably the hardest thing.
She struggled to talk about her experiences overseas.
It was hard. It was a shock because I didn't see it coming. Because I was one of the last people left in England, everyone had gone home and I stayed for Christmas, so I was ready to come home, but when I got home it was like, whoa, I'm back, everyone's lives are still going on, and you feel really lost and weird, like I tried not to think about my year away too much because I just get too sad, and I think one of the other really hard things was I wanted to tell everyone about it, and a lot of people don't want to hear about it.
Paul Duffel is a culture shock mitigator. He says there are 3 main ways to deal with reverse culture shock.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of different sort of strategies we look at. Just in a basic area, we look at stuff in terms of affect, so feelings, stuff in terms of behaviour, so actions that you're doing, and the third area is cognition, so how we're thinking.
He says maintaining a connection is important.
So say, for example, mitigating reverse culture shock might be very sort of in an affective way, in terms of feelings, really sort of gradual, like immersing yourself back in your own culture, your original culture, but keeping a connection with cultural groups who you've had contact with in the other country.
For Sean, filling the void was most important.
It's a lot of what people would be feeling in terms of depression and coming back from overseas is a lack of something, and I suppose if they could identify what particularly the lack was, then they could serve to bring it into their life at home, because especially if you're going to Europe or anywhere which isn't particularly different culturally than it is here, then I'm sure that you could kind of make it all fit together.
Emily Jacobs, UTS News.